All right, welcome back everybody for another deep dive. This time we're going deep on Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Feck.
Ooh, controversial.
Yeah, a little bit.
Definitely clickbaity.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people probably see that title and think, oh, so we're just not going to try it anything.
Right, exactly.
But it's way more nuanced than that. So whether you've read it or not, stick with us and we'll break it all down.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So the main thing Manson is getting at is, I think, being intentional
Yeah,
about where you're putting your energy, like what you're focusing on.
absolutely. He has this whole concept of, you've only got so many, as he puts it, facts to give.
Right.
So, gotta make them count.
Right. So it's all about figuring out what deserves your attention.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we've all got limited energy, but then how do you pick what to care about?
Well, it starts with your values, right?
Yeah.
Like what actually matters to you. I always think of it like a pie chart.
Yeah.
You've got your feck pie, and each slice represents something you care about. But are you giving huge slices to things that don't deserve it?
Right.
Maybe you're stressing about social media likes when you actually value quality time with loved ones way more.
That's such a good analogy. The pie chart. I love that. It's a really good way to visualize it.
Yeah, helps to see where your energy's actually going.
And then that leads right into maybe a more surprising thing from Manson, which is that struggle is actually a good thing.
Yeah. At first, it's like, wait, what? I thought we were trying to not give a feck.
Right.
But he's not saying go look for misery. It's more like the right kind of struggle, the kind that pushes you towards your values. That's how we grow.
It's like, what's the point of lifting weights if it's not hard, right?
Exactly. He uses that analogy too.
Yeah.
Got to challenge those muscles to make them stronger.
So what are your personal weights to lift, so to speak? What challenges do you need to face to become the person you want to be?
That's a good question.
It could be a tough conversation you're putting off. Learning something totally new. Facing a fear.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
But yeah, thinking about it as weights really changes things. It's not something to run from anymore. It's how you get stronger.
For sure. And this kind of ties into another big thing Manson talks about, responsibility.
Yeah, owning your choices.
Even when things feel totally out of your control, which, let's be real, happens a lot.
Absolutely. Life is unpredictable.
Right, but even then, we still have control over how we react to it. I used to get so worked up in traffic, like road rage central.
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling.
But then I realized I can't control the cars around me, but I can control how I respond.
So now what do you do?
Podcasts, audiobooks makes the time way more productive.
That's a great example.
It's about focusing on what you can influence, even if the big picture seems out of reach.
So think back to a time when you felt totally powerless, maybe an argument, a setback at work. If you could go back, knowing what you know now about this responsibility thing, could you have changed the outcome by shifting your own perspective?
Interesting. Makes you think.
And then there's another concept Manson brings up, which is a little bit heavier, but actually super motivating when you think about it the right way.
No, you mean death.
Yeah, death. A lot of people might shy away from that topic,
Makes sense.
but Manson uses it as this reminder to live intentionally.
Absolutely. He says something like, the idea of death saves us. It is the only thing that can pry our fingers off the wheel long enough to see we're driving in the wrong direction.
That's such a good quote. It's like, if you knew you only had a limited time left, would you keep doing the things you're doing now? Would you care about the same things?
Right. It puts everything in perspective.
Like, are you sweating the small stuff when you could be pursuing your dreams?
Makes you prioritize what really matters.
And this all ties back to being intentional, right? Which brings us to another big piece of advice from Manson, saying no.
Oh, yeah. Boundaries are key.
It's about protecting your fuck pie, like we talked about earlier. You've got limited slices, so you got to guard them.
Exactly. Saying no frees you up to say a bigger yes to the things that light you up.
Where in your life could you benefit from saying no more?
That's a good question for everyone listening too.
It's easy to get caught up in people-pleasing, overcommitting, that kind of stuff. But saying no can actually be a huge act of self-care.
It's about respecting your own time and energy.
And that leads us to another really empowering idea, letting go of the need to be exceptional.
Oh, yeah, that pressure to be amazing at everything is exhausting.
And unrealistic, really. Manson's like, hey, it's okay to be good at some things and not so good at others.
And even more importantly, it's okay to be content with that.
Right. You don't have to compare yourself to everyone else's highlight reel.
Exactly. Find what brings you satisfaction. That's what matters.
So much freedom in that, right?
Yeah.
Letting go of the need to be perfect all the time.
Totally.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the subtle art of not giving a feck, I want to leave you with one final question to think about. If you could only care deeply about three things in your life, what would they be?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
And WHY those three. It's a great exercise to really get clear on your values. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
Bye, everybody.